going to find out. We're in live. My first live in BAME, beautiful, amazing, motivated entrepreneurs. But actually, you know the other name for it, and I don't think we deserve those kind of titles. So I think we deserve to have the individual title for who you want to be, and how you want to identify yourself. So my first live in here, which should be shared out and will be shared out, hopefully, if you take something from this message. The title in here is Coming Up from the Ghetto. What do I mean by coming out from the ghetto? I want to let you know that sometimes that we haven't identified our childhood in its entirety to muster out where things went wrong and what we could probably improve. Good evening. We haven't mastered all of that out. We're still trying to find ourselves as we grow from childhood to adult. And as we're growing, we discover, this is the word, discovery is self-reinvented. You recreate yourself along the way. When you realize, I'll wait for a minute, when you realize that people, you have to change, right? Somewhere along the line, especially those that have had a rough upbringing, may have gone through the care system, may have not had parents' right guidance, might have had violence, might have had child abuse, might have had all of those things at the onset of early on in their life throughout, making it difficult to form relationships or be in a certain relationship with certain individuals that make, where you have a strong reputation of where you can hold your own. But there comes a time where that holding your own, it's affiliated with a bad reputation sometimes. And when you've had a bad reputation, I mean, it's good in some ways. When as you grow, people say, oh, don't mess with her or don't mess with him. Yeah, that's good because it looks like it's self-defense and keeping away from certain people that would mess about with you, or there's those quiet people that don't have a bad reputation. I've had a bad reputation growing up because I had to learn to defend myself. Okay, my upbringing wasn't particularly great. I never really had much stability at home. My parents were drinking, my dad was smoking, the culture was a mixed culture. They didn't teach me about race or anything like that. That there you learn through school, being called names and ridiculed and bullied, etc. Anyway, so you start to learn to defend in a different way within the quiet side inside. Where sometimes people on the outside could be so loud, but inside they're paining, they're hurting, and they hurt themselves in silly ways that nobody would actually imagine. You know, I have I've climbed up. I've been through the wars. I've had so many injustices against me. Every time you tell somebody something, they would never believe. You have to go out your way and then go down to court. And if you get to court, do you get a fair chance when you're at court? The injustices have been phenomenal. Can't even figure out that word. The injustices have been really bad. But the injustices when it comes to friends and family and things like that, there are injustices there also because they can be unfair when you are trying to progress forward. So when I say you cannot just pick up where you left off from people. People have been out of your life for a while. You then meet up with them years later. Now you're in a different state of mind, and then there's a gap where things have happened to you and they're not accustomed to, and so therefore you've now found a different way of defending yourself or hurting yourself. So these are quite opposites. I'm going to do the opposites because life is not a bed of roses like people think it is. You see my face? I look alright, don't I? Yeah. But deep down, you don't know my battles, so having to get up every single day. You don't know how I handle how people are horrible. Since being in a position, and I said a position, of having my own business and having my own company, I've had many people from my past call back and go, wow, you've changed. I mean, they can actually see the change. They can see that I was doing something for the community, and I guess that looks good on me. But there's some people that will say, you know what, I'll have a bit of that. Let me see if I can just rekindle where I left off. So you being the person that you are, this Miss Goody Two Shoes now, and you're trying to show people the right way and to be kind with each other, because being unkind to each other is what's causing depression amongst the community, because they're not being understood, and there's miscommunication. So when you've got people coming back into your life, when you start to shine, they don't like it. They pretend they like it, but they wish they had the integrity to get up and have that motivation as you have when you're doing something. And so therefore it becomes, I want to be involved. So you take them on in one way or another, thinking that they too, you know, this is the same person that you knew once, only they're not. Their mind's changed, your mind's changed, you're doing things differently. And so when they want a piece of your pie, if they can't do it their way, you will be ridiculed. In my case, I have had nothing but names chucked at me, told that that the project that I'm running is no good. They don't understand how I can. It basically looks like I shouldn't be deserve. I shouldn't deserve. I don't deserve to be helping people. I don't deserve to own my own business or my own company. I don't deserve to be up here. Now, when people keep saying, well, those kind of things, when people are horrible to you, that's racism. Obviously, I'll defend that. I'll defend it sometimes to say, is it? Is it really? How can it be? How do you use that just one little word without actually detailing what it is they actually really done? Can I prove that? Yeah, I can. I can prove that some people do not like somebody of a different ethnicity in a position where they're making a difference. And it does, it make you it makes you stand out. You stand out. But you stand out in some people's eyes for the good, but in those eyes that your, your previous friends that have always been in competition with you, in a sense, they feel they can do better. So they go and set out to destroy what you built up. And literally destroy. I mean, I did a little live a little bit earlier about being run down. When you're being run down, you're susceptible for these diseases that are coming through, for even a common cold, because you're running your immune system down on negative energy that other people have created, because they're trying to pull you down to make you look stupid. Now, the test here, from ghetto to riches, that's the way I'm going to put it. And it's not about money, it's about the value of yourself. When you want to come out of that school ground, that playground mode, you know, and you want to like be mature, hold yourself well, be elegant and things like that, you know, just change. It's a test, and it does make you feel empowered, um, very knowledged. And I think that's what people don't like, knowledge. They don't like somebody that's more knowledge than them, you know. And I'm sick and tired, and it is the opposite complexion that is targeted myself, um, and have gone out their way to destroy my business. I've had them. I've had people actually going to the lengths of getting the same tattoos as myself. I've had people go to the lengths of um, rebranding and taking even over and taking over a group and calling it what I called my own group. You know, it's just nasty, nasty, nasty behaviour. One of the things that I was told, and this is, I've been holding this back for a long time now, but one of the things that bothered me was when somebody said that I called their husband a racist. That bothered me because it came out of the blue. Now, when you sit and you eat with people, you invite everybody into the same space. You don't treat anybody any different, although we are all completely different. But you don't show that in differences when you're sitting at the table, eating food around the table with the same people. that are making accusations at you. Now, I was told that it was written. I really have to say this because, and I'm a little bit nervous saying it, but you know what? I'm going to overcome it. I received a message that said that I called someone's husband a racist, and that was in writing. And that message went out to about 7 other people. So this becomes gossip, and those 7 other people are now looking at me, and I'm now being judged. Did I call the wife's husband a racist? And the wife had written that. Now, this was a friend of mine that I had for many, many, many years, but there was a gap where I didn't see them for 8. And during those 8 years that I didn't see them, I became homeless. I became, I'd gone through domestic violence. I'd put myself on a business course, entrepreneur course, and I started a project. So people that are having injustices know their rights and can get some support with it. So I developed a company called Mind Over Matter, suicide prevention for those that are feeling depressed and cannot get their voice heard and do suffer from injustices. And they didn't know that about me. So when I started to go live and broadcast and show all the work that I'd done and the people that I've saved, that and people who wasn't getting their voice heard until I came along to free them from their situation. Um, when they saw all that, they were quite proud of that. But what they've gone and done is sabotaged anything that I ever helped, anything that I'd done. They tried to sabotage, and they sabotaged in a way by using the race card, and that's something I never expected to be called a racist. I never expected to be called a racist. The reason why that topic or that subject came up is because, like I said, I run a few platforms, and I like to keep my platforms relatively clean and unargumentative. And me being my colour, the skin colour, I'm diverse. My mother was white and my father was black. I have seen and had it from all areas. I think there isn't a person that doesn't experience it, to be honest. But when I set up this group, BAME group, within half an hour, the person of the, a different tone of skin posted Thomas Jefferson on my other project, which is about prevention. And Thomas Jefferson, to me, I didn't really, who was he, whatever else. Of course, I have to figure out what people are doing, do my research, and know what I'm talking about. So I did find out who Thomas Jefferson was. I thought, well, why are you putting this Thomas Jefferson on a mental health platform? What is the point in putting him on there? And then it was like, oh, well, I wanted to prove that he had a half caste. I'm not going to use that word. I can use what I like. Many names have been chucked on me throughout my life, and then they tell me to change it like a dog, right? Tricky. No, your name's Benson right now, and they keep changing your names to suit your complexion. So identify yourself the way you want to identify yourself. Okay. So these people were lost myself. I lost my train of thought. Totally lost my train of thought. Yes. So Thomas Jefferson. So they wanted to prove that they were mixed race. That Thomas Jefferson had mixed race kids. But it was a trigger for me because at the end of the day, I know what Thomas Jefferson and the background about Thomas Jefferson. So it became a trigger of going back in the days. And I thought, what has this got to do with me setting up a BAME? Then the next day, there were 7 people that witnessed a message that said that I called her husband a racist. And I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Because I confronted the husband and said to the husband, why did you put Thomas Jefferson on the mental health platform? The husband said, well, people need to know. No, they don't. That's not the platform for it. We're talking about mental health and suicide prevention. What you're doing is talking about ex-slavery days and things that we don't want to talk about. But if you want to talk about them, then we can talk about them. But I didn't want people to come on the platform and start having an argument about this said thing, especially when it was posted from somebody that wasn't in chains. Okay, so I when I read that about me calling them a racist, I just thought, I cannot believe that somebody would use that word and not actually understand or identify what the damn thing means. Okay, so reading that content and knowing that 7 other people had witnessed that content, I then approached the husband. Your wife has made an accusation. Is this gossip or is this the truth? Because your wife has made an accusation in a public platform. I then got a message, and I actually stored that message, and I have a voice message to say, no, I did not call you that whatsoever. And no, it never came out of my mouth and I didn't say it. The fact that the husband confirms that I didn't say it, the wife has not apologized. She has not gone back to those 7 people and said that it was untrue and it was that she got it wrong. So what has gone out there is that I'm a racist. But the husband is saying he didn't say it. So thank God I have the vocal message about I'm not that he didn't say it and it's untrue. But the trigger point was because I started a BAME group. You know, that's what they didn't like. They didn't like the fact that I started a BAME, mental health awareness group. They didn't like it. So in retaliation, they play silly manipulating games and post on a group that you know that you own, Thomas Bloody Jefferson. And then the wife says what she says. Now these people are supposed to be counsellors, yes, and professionals in a sense, trying to train to be professionals. You do not take contents or an accusation like that and put it in a group where many members can see it, and then it turns out to be a false allegation and you cannot apologise for it. You have gone out to deliberately destroy something fantastic that was just simply saying, get up, rise up, spread the awareness, spread the love, be kind to each other. If you don't know how to get out with something, here's the education. All throughout this, I've been ostracised and looked at badly. So I retracted slightly. And in retracting slightly, it meant giving up what I started because somebody has tried to tarnish my reputation. But that's what it's designed for. That's what gossip is designed to destroy individuals. Gossip is there to tear down individuals. Now, I'm all for the truth and nothing but the truth. And I always say, if you give me material, I will use the material to raise awareness about this said behaviour that you think you can get away with. You have no right to dare tear down another human being. So if somebody is doing something amazing for the community and there are wonderful people that are raising awareness into this kind of behaviour, so you recognise it and you stop it because you're destroying lives, then I'm all for that. When people are doing something good, if you can take the time out to post an unworthy comment and untrue statements, then I think you'd be better off placed raising awareness in a prevention mode rather than try and tear down someone. Listen, I ain't going nowhere. The only thing that's going to take me out is the big Lord above. That's it. But you know, people don't understand that. Who am I? Well, I'm just a girl that didn't really have a chance at life. Didn't really have a good upbringing. It wasn't perfect. Didn't really have much stability. The only stability I got was to change everything about me. Change the behaviour, drink, drugs, being around people that are negative. When you were sucked into the same crowd that you've been accustomed to, sometimes you can't breathe and you can't grow and you can't flourish and go and do creative things that you want to do. Nobody said it. Nobody taught me how to run a business. They should do that at school. Teach people how to run a business. They didn't teach me that. I put myself on many courses. I've done a counselling course. I've done hairdressing. I have many, many skills. But I decided that my niche was mental health awareness and to give back from the situations that I have been through so that you can have some hope and that somebody doesn't give up. There are too many people being ridiculed and not able to grow because people are still tarnishing you with the same brush, thinking you're still that girl. I'm not that girl anymore. And people, when you pick up people from your past, ask yourself why you left it in the first place. But you forgive and you forget, don't you? Well, maybe not forget. It doesn't all come into place until they do something again, where you think, oh yeah, I forgot. This is the reason why I didn't go. This is the reason why we split in the first place, because of the same rhetoric. But you like to give people a benefit of the doubt to see if they would change. And if you are in a position where you are doing something where you can teach people to be kind, get up in the morning, help somebody else, don't name and shame, don't spread gossip where it's nasty, untrue gossip. But I do believe in defending yourself. And the fact that I'm defending myself is because when you don't have a chance to defend yourself, it leaves you feeling unbelieved, unsupported, and left out there with this name stuck on your forehead for everyone to see, and you haven't had a chance to defend your rights about that truth. And I think that's the thing, is that people don't want people to see them in a bad light. I know these people are not bad people, but they have bad behaviour, and that's one of the things that I like to address in mental health, is people's behaviour, and only that, so they can replace old behaviour that's keeping them down and keeping them in the same gossip column that they've been accustomed to for many years, which is tearing other individuals down, pulling down their reputations. So for me, my reputation is, I laid it all on the line on Facebook, all on the line on YouTube. I don't have a reputation. The reputation that I had was a child that was abused. That's the reputation I had. I'm allowed to grow from that. I'm allowed to be free from that. You see, the reason why people end up doing silly things or being around the wrong crowd or drinking too much or smoking too much is because of the crap that they've been through, perhaps as a child, perhaps as an adult. And they use things as a coping strategy, and people being around certain people as a coping strategy too. I like to be around people. I liked, past tense, to have been around people that were drinking and smoking and whatever else at the end of the day, because they were hyper, they were fun, you didn't care, we didn't care, we danced, we didn't care, we didn't have to worry about nothing. Those are the type of people that I used to hang about all the while, and then I had to pull away from that in order to get better and control my outcome of my life. Because when you hang around with dogs, and I said this, you hang around with dogs, you catch fleas. Now, the other saying is, if you lie with dogs, you catch fleas. What it means is, if you hang around with a bad crowd, you're more likely to have a bad reputation. So your reputation, it's about you. It's about you. You sometimes can't go backwards in your life and pick up where you left off with people, because they haven't changed. You might have changed, but they haven't changed. If they're not doing anything and they haven't got anything to show for themselves, and they're still doing the same rhetoric that they did when you first met them years back, then sometimes analyze just how much information, how much you want to be around these people, what you want to give, or if you want them into your new life. Because these people that envy you will go out and try and destroy you. They will pretend that they will be your best friend. They will make promises. They will big you up, and behind your back they try to steal your business to get it shut down. And the reason why they want to shut it down is because they want to shut this down. Why? Because you tell them about their behaviour. Otherwise you wouldn't have a complaint, would you? If you're not telling them about their behaviour, then there's no complaint. But they have a complaint about you because suddenly they want you to do this, do that, do this, do that, and they want to start cracking the whip at you and telling you what you should be doing. Hold on a minute, where have you been? You wasn't here on the onset of when I started a business. Where have you been? You've only come, what, about a year and a bit later, and now you want to mash up my team? By using the race card? Come on, get real. This race card is getting flouted about so much. I saw another person that was represented and helping with mental health. A mental health ambassador actually has done so much for the community in raising awareness, and we've teamed up. We do team up to help raise awareness out in the public. Now, what I saw of that person is them going into a store and them being accused of stealing a sock. They were accused of stealing a sock. And during the video that I watched, the man was, again, of a different skin tone, and the man was ridiculing the guy and trying to do patois. And if you don't know what that is, then, for the people that don't know what it is, please do educate. I'm not about to look everything up. I have to educate myself, so do you. But the man was ridiculing the black man and trying to use the lingo, but publicly humiliation. And this is what they tend to do when people are in business. They try to publicly humiliate and take the one thing that has made a difference. But what are they actually taking? What are they trying to shut down? I've had so many people try and take my business from me since I started this business, and you wouldn't even expect it. So it got me thinking: am I underestimating myself when it comes to judge a character? I think I like to see the good in everyone. I think that is not a mistake. That is just my nature, and that's something that I should keep up. And if something happens where somebody is challenging my character and trying to character assassinate me, just like that did my other friend by making up lies, then it shows them. And what that done is the group that they gossiped, I can't say the words, the group that they were spreading malicious lies and gossiping, they haven't corrected them. It means that they're teaching these people bad behaviour, and they're teachers of not of me. And if you're going to gossip, you're going to belittle people, you're going to write about people and send it into a group, then I have the right to defend myself, and I'm not in the group. This is the only way I can get my message out. I am no racist. Prove that, because I have helped people up of all colours. That is my job, to make sure that I help people up, and that's what I've been doing. And I have no part in discrimination. I'm against discrimination. But when it happens to me, and when you're supposed to handle with care, sometimes I want to get the ghetto. They always say you can't take the girl out of the ghetto, right? You can take the girl out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of the ghetto. Yeah? And sometimes when people come from a certain background, they're trying to maintain that they don't go backwards. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to go backwards in life and go back to defending yourself in the way you knew how. Those days are gone, and I believe that when those days are gone, where you stop using violence to defend yourself, or you stop name calling or ridiculing people to defend yourself, when you're trying to stay on the straight and narrow, I believe that is a big test of you, whether you have changed. When you are up against people name calling you, false allegations, how are you gonna handle your business? That test is gonna be you. I could have done one of two things. I could have gone and mashed up big time and said something in a way that I was accustomed to in order to defend myself, or maintain what I've been doing for the last couple of years and saying how nasty gossip is and saying my part. If the shoe fits, wear it. Now, the only way they will actually be known that it's them is if they comment on here. Then we'll identify them. So they're not to comment if they've got any smart tactic about themselves to save their own reputation before I press play on the machine and out the video that says I did not call you one, and then show the text message that wifey says I called racist. Husband's testimonial in a voice, wife's written testimonial. The wife's written testimonial that's gone in a public group is called slander and liable. That's right. Education-wise, can be taken to a court of law. You don't need to go for the police for it. You can take them yourself. This one, the voice one now, is my testimony and my alibi that it did not happen and that the wife is lying. And I gave them 3 weeks to apologise. I didn't give them a time limit, but during this time they have not apologised for trying to publicly humiliate me. Not one iota. And the people that were in receipt of the malicious gossip, they're the ones that will have to understand that if you hang around with dogs, you're gonna catch fleas. And I can see it a mile away. Bad behaviour is bad behaviour. And you don't understand the damage that you do when you start slagging off, I'm going to use that word, slagging off people behind their backs. You don't understand the damage and the hurt that people feel behind closed doors and the damage they do to themselves because you are ridiculing people and calling them names. There was a guy that wrote on my platform the other day, and I hope he's watching, because he called an individual a slag. I hate that word with a passion, and I don't think women deserve that name. I think if somebody is being called that name and you identify it as that name, let's go back into their history as why are they being promiscuous or doing things. You know, it takes two to tango, and if people are unhappy, they're unhappy. But those name calling is the worst of the worst, and it is reputation that you are out there trying to destroy. Mine, at the end of the day, if you can have a look all about me, I've got no secrets, none. I hold no secrets because that's what the perpetrators used to try and do, is keep you to keep secrets. I no longer want to keep secrets because I free my mind when I don't keep secrets about what people have done to me or what they are doing to me. I won't keep it. I sat on this conversation for a little while, for don't rant and rave when you want to talk about what's happened to you. Just talk about what's happened to you and why you retracted away from talking. I retracted away from talking a while whilst I mustered out what I done wrong in this. And I think my judge of character, seeing people, the good in people, it's not a wrong thing. It's just a journey that I had to go through to make me stronger. You know, now I know what I know, and people stand beside a beast. It's up to them. You know, for me, I'm going to go where there's no drama, there's no problems, and I don't have to worry about being horrible or nothing like that. I don't want to join that pack where people are horrible to people. I know what the damage it does. I know that, you know, and I'll always repeat on here so you understand that there is 1 in 4 people commit suicide. Every 40 seconds someone commits suicide, alright? It's not a joke. And there are people behind closed doors suffering from depression, and that is a lot of people nowadays suffering from depression, and they're forming unhealthy coping strategies throughout, and people don't even know what they are, don't even notice that that is an unhealthy coping strategy. You know, too much sleep, overeating, not going anywhere, shutting down the friends, retraction, where you don't want to talk to anyone. You don't want to talk to anyone because you don't trust people. The trust is going within the community. The trust is going, and we got to build up trust somewhere along the line, you know. But I think the only thing you can actually really do is trust yourself, and definitely trust your instincts. Um, Trust is a hard thing, isn't it? Trusting someone, but I think it's seeing is believing, and so far so good. So you can reach and know something about someone, but if something happens, then they might change the character on you, and you wouldn't expect it, and you probably think, "Oh, where did that come from? I never saw that coming. I didn't think they'd ever be like that." So you don't know what someone will do when they're desperate for something. When they you just don't know how someone's going to react. So trust is very difficult. So for me, I have associates, friends, um, people I call family. These are the people that I don't spend the everyday with, but I know they're there if I need them, vice versa. Um, Friends, I had friends when I was at school, but you know, when you leave that school ground, you have to leave and make new beginnings. And people are only in your life temporarily, some for a lifetime. But when you have got the opportunity to share space with people, and if they do invite you into their world of business, etc., then it's their business, it's their idea. Don't ever try and take over their idea. Add value by, if you want a suggestion, make a suggestion, make a suggestion. But don't get angry because somebody doesn't carry out your idea. If you have an idea, go and create that idea yourself, rather than going in on your friend's business or people that you know's business and try and destroy it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That just shows jealousy. Do you know where anyone can have a business, you know? I didn't know how easy it was. I didn't know what you had to do to get there. But I went out and I learned and I educated myself. And now I'm here, I'm just like, okay, all I'm doing is raising awareness now. There is so much more I can do. But it gets to the point where when you're ridiculed and you're trodden on and your reputation is on the line and they're going out to destroy you, I think to myself, what for? I don't need the drama. Let me go back. Let me not say that. Let me not get involved. And then I think to myself, you know what? Let me do it another way. A way that says that if you want to raise awareness, please do. If you want any questions, please ask. If you want to help, please share. If you don't know who I am, or don't know what I do, or did do, past tense, like I said, I'm worrying about myself now. I'm going to be worried about my own mental health right now. I'm going to worry about my own space and what I'm doing for myself. I've done for others for years. I've put others before me for years. It felt terrific to know that I could help somebody. Terrific to know that they didn't die because I intervention. It was terrific. But people forget the good that I do, and they home in on stupidity, unnecessarily stupidity, and they forget the good I've done. You've only got to look in the news, you've only got to look on the YouTube, you've only got to look in the papers, you'll see all the good. It's all there that I've done. So if anybody ever calls me a racist, get stuffed. Because you'll be calling me mum. Me mum and me dad. You know, I don't know. I think we all have a weapon that we can use when we're angry. We can identify that it's particular race that are doing such incidences to us or to certain individuals. I can identify that we all get picked on in our own way by different people, different backgrounds. Um, I can identify that. It's not enough to just say it. You have to have that evidence to back it up. When somebody is doing something nasty and calling you those names, I suggest at the end of the day that I've got enough backative to back myself up against such allegations that are out to destroy. And I certainly wouldn't take any direction from people that play that playground rubbish. They don't even know the damage they do. I have to look at their behaviour themselves and wonder where their head is at, why they can't focus on themselves. Stop looking in somebody else's back garden, clean their own up. I had lots of stuff written down. One of those is you just cannot pick up where you left off. It's a bit like people going back to their exes, isn't it? You know, if you leave an ex, you left them for a reason. Don't never forget the reason. Make the right choices. Definitely make the right choices. You have to. Criticism. I don't think you should have to take criticism. It's good to take criticism, be it positive or be it negative. Yes, negative can hurt, but you learn from it. You learn from it. And yeah, something we have to go through a little bit of pain sometimes, but we wish we didn't. We wish to stay happy. And sometimes you wonder, just here's the question for you. How many weeks, my son asked me this question actually, Mum, when was the last time you've cried? How long did you cry? Or how many times did you cry in a week? When was the last time you cried? How long has it been since you last cried? Are you crying frequently? You know, because that's a sign of depression if you're crying frequently. And sometimes you may not know why you're crying. And that's okay too. That's okay too. There's times where I could just cry. I could be sad for the world, sad for something I've seen on the telly, or whatever. But sometimes I don't like to cry because I know it pulls me down for about a couple of days. So I don't like to cry. And if I'm crying because I'm maintaining that anger. I'm trying not to unleash the beast, you know. Can you believe that? I'm in the middle of a live and I'm getting a call from the USA. So I'm going to go now because it's nice to speak to people that are on your wavelength. Stay focused. Don't be pulled into something you don't want to be in. Ladies, I'm going to address the ladies out there. You are beautiful people inside and out. Okay? And no matter the past, remember you have a future. And that is all down to you. What steps you take, what you allow in life. What you allow in life. Okay? Because yesterday I posted a domestic violence video. I supplied the domestic violence awareness hotline number also. But one of the things that bothered me about the video is that there were children there. There were children in the video, and I ended up cutting them out, but there were children in the video. But the woman had a big mark all over her face. Your children are seeing all of this. Don't let no man put no hand on you. Equally, don't put no hand on no man. Men go and experience the same thing, and they're very quiet with it. And some of these men take their lives, unfortunately, because they don't know who to tell, how to tell, because they're ashamed of that word, domestic violence, and they don't know what to do. So please, guys, stop running your mouths on each other and stop putting your hands on each other. Be kind to each other. You're not in your past, you're not your parents' background. I'm talking about, we learn a lot of stuff from our parents, and it gets passed on and passed on and passed on. But I do know that we have to unlearn what we have learnt in order to flourish forward and self-identify who you are as an individual. So stay strong, stay blessed, stay safe. My name is Kerry Mussington. Don't forget it. I'm leaving my history one way or another. All of these words that go out on there, out there, good or bad, nobody like them, I don't care. I sit here four walls, nobody's around me. Technology is a wonderful thing right now, and I'm just talking into a diary. That's what I call it, a diary. And I'm using an opportunity to raise awareness. If someone takes something out of this, good, I hope so. If not, then fine. My words weren't wasted because I did it for me. I needed to come on here and do a live because I lost my mojo, because they were intentionally trying to pull me down to make me feel that I wasn't good enough, and that even the business that I created wasn't good enough. And I know it's wrong. I know that's a lie. And I have the evidence to show that everything that I'd done was for the benefit of mankind, so they can rise up, and it didn't matter of the colour of their skin. But I do know that people can't go on the way they're going on because they're doing damage to themselves. So as my father would once say, let them knock themselves